9 p.m. on Friday, May 31st, 2024, as you can clearly see. This is capturing the specific environment, and this is relevant to what is federal group stalking and monitoring. This is what I'm capturing for purposes of prosecuting a government that's engaged in criminal surveillance in the state of California, which is the reality of what is monitoring. And relevant context is that criminal monitoring is demonic activity. So a government that's engaged in monitoring, people that are monitoring you are doing so under the influence of what is a demonic spirit. Okay, so this is a demon-possessed entity that is also representing a public entity that's engaged in what is criminal surveillance. The combination of all of those aspects is criminal surveillance, which is serving for what is federal group stalking and monitoring, and it is criminal where a government is engaging in, first of all, what is demonic. That's relevant to what is terrorism, and it's also criminal because there's a constitution here in the U.S. in the state of California, and the government does not have a right to place you under surveillance or engage in stalking you. Moreover, doing so through entirely demented and psychotic methods. Those methods are captured within what is an ongoing cycle, a pattern of conduct. And that is the substance of what I have documented. That's what I continuously capture. This is occurring in the workplace. That's what I'm capturing right now, is the presence of the specific environment. And that specific environment is remaining over me while I am in the workplace. So currently, again, it's 2:01 p.m. So I want you to look at the light source that's over my head right now. Okay, and you're going to remember what is the character of this light. First of all, it's reaching underneath a structure. There's a covering right here. Sunlight from the sun that's above us does not engage in what is bending underneath structures. It certainly does not engage in what is coming underneath into doorways. When it touches windows, for example, engineered light engages in what the pattern you see. It creates the shape of the object that it's hitting, and you'll see it come. It appears flat on the surface. In other words, the shape of this window appearing flat on the ground on the inside of the building. You've also seen the pattern where the same windows is creating the engineered light as though the shape of the window is going to appear in that same engineered light on the outside of the building or on the asphalt or across the field, creating your shadow when you walk in it. None of that is sunlight. But you're looking at what is engineered light. It's appearing into the doorway. That's impossible light activity, okay? And it's coming underneath the structure in order to do so. Under all circumstances, it is impossible light activity. In addition, that's one angle. It is also present with regard to the maintenance of the light source. So just as a reminder, I documented the light source over me. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. And so this is the people of the state that are group stalking, walking all around. I'm showing you the ongoing. This is the light source that's over me. Okay, while this third party is engaging in what is demonic, he's stalking you. He's stalking you in plain sight. He's engaged in group stalking with the state that is monitoring you in concert with that entity that's maintaining criminal presence all around you in the unnatural environment. This is at 11:35 in the morning. I am at the same location. I'm at my office. This is the same location where I stood here capturing group stalking by that third party that lives at the address. That's the same van. You saw the light source through the windshield of that same van. It's the same exact pattern of conduct. He was crossing path while you saw that light source through the back windshield of that vehicle. I'm at the same location. That's a demon closing doors while I'm zooming in and out. Again, that one's going to federal prison, engaging in what is activity creation, opening and closing the doors, maintaining light, moving around the vehicle. That's a demon. They're doing so in an environment where a light source is remaining over me for the duration of the day. She does the same thing when she's feigning as though she's working out. She could not care less about her overall well-being or her health or her future, because she's going to sit in federal prison, and she's got a couple of issues besides the fact that she's demon possessed. But that's not the target individual's concern. The entity is maintaining this light source as I'm capturing. That's 11:35. I'm standing in front of the same office where I've stood here at 11:35. That's not the sun that would still be over my head at 2. But we can go back further than that. Today I captured the light. This is still at 11:00 in the morning. The entity is maintaining the light sources I'm documenting today. The light sources I captured, here's another example. This is 3:28 in the afternoon. You're looking at the light source that's above my head while I'm inside of my apartment. You can see the parking lot where I am standing in front of this parking lot right here. So what I'm showing you on the camera, this is the parking lot that you're looking at. And inside of this image, you're looking at what is the zoomed in image of that parking lot area. That's through my bedroom window at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what I just captured the other day. As I'm just maintaining ongoing body of evidence of what is an unnatural environment. I'm at the same property, and the entity is maintaining a light source in alignment to my bedroom window, as though sun is going to be in any position at what is after 7 o'clock in the evening. This is what this is, 7:42, and engineer light remains inside of my bedroom. That's not sunlight. And that's engineer light, the same thing that the people of the state are walking in while they are group stalking on the property. Sunlight is not going to be present at the same property at 4:50. It's over my head right now at 2 o'clock. It was over my head this morning at 11 o'clock. 12, 1, 2, 3, 5 hours from now, the sun is not going to be in any position at the same location, aiming any light on the gate of 1826 Lobdell, all over the street, onto the gate next door to 1826 Lobdell Place in Los Angeles, which is the east side in front of my front door. All of this is engineer light, the same engineer light you see on my ceiling and whatnot, that is ricocheting off of buildings while the people of the state are driving by. This is not sunlight. This is the maintenance of a specific environment. Okay, this light source is remaining over me again while the people of the state are monitoring via children. This is light activity creation, while the light source is remaining over me at the same property from 11 to what is, as I captured on this day, 3:28 in the afternoon. That's capturing the specific environment, not the natural environment. The light source is literally remaining over one property as I'm capturing. I'm at my management office at 3:28 in the afternoon. The light source is moving backwards to be in alignment with me over my head inside of my bedroom window. This is the movement of that light source over a series of hours, which is exclusive. It's at one address, and this is not over anyone in over any other state. Okay, this is, again, just as I'm isolating it to just today. What I want to juxtapose this to, I captured the light source on many other occasions, but I'll use early in the morning. And by early, I have it even earlier. I have the sunrise at the same hillside location. Again, never the natural environment. Blatant stalking. I'm just capturing a video today, May 31st, 2024, because everyone that I said is going to federal prison is indeed going to federal prison, and they're going for a very long time because of the gravity of this criminal conduct that an entity is engaging in and who it is engaging in it with. That is every single last person that is around you in that unnatural environment, which in and of itself is an act of terrorism. This is 9 o'clock in the morning, May 30th, 2024. The light source is directly over my head as I stand outside of the same leasing office where I'm standing right now. This is capturing indeed what is the pattern of conduct. This is captured on May 30th. So I want you to see what is the entity's pattern of conduct as I am capturing. Let's see. Just so that you can see the light source next to each other. I think that's a very powerful image when you look at the two next to each other, which is what I continuously aim to show, so that you can witness what is demonic activity. You can witness the demon possession of those that are engaging in criminal conduct, and you are also then simultaneously witnessing malice with which a demon possessed and a corrupt government seeks to conceal, okay? Seeks to, in every regard, contradict through its, again, wanting to seemingly unknowingly engage in this criminal activity while they're in every way monitoring and engaged in what is an ongoing course of conduct that's under no circumstances contradicting the pattern of conduct, okay? So that's Center for Better Life. That driver is going to federal prison. That's why I'm not going to go out and capture images of it. The entity is engaged in what is impunity. Everybody at Alvarado Gardens is going to federal prison for that. That's criminal conduct while they're listening to me document them sounding sirens and creating audible activity. The drivers, the two, I've captured an Asian male and the Latino male acting in concert with the state. They're both going to federal prison, and Center for Better Life is going to be civilly and criminally prosecuted. So that's why I'm not going to waste my time getting that. Center for Better Life and its demon possession and its criminal conduct with the state has been heavily covered already, okay? I want you to see the visible image of the light source that's over my head while I'm standing at the same door entry. That's why I'm going through all these images. Forgive me, give me 1 second, because that is indeed a very powerful image. And I could easily just search for it, which I think I will do that instead of 090. It is beyond, yeah, May 30th at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is the light source that's over me. The entity is maintaining amplified audible activity, stalking in an airplane right now, maintaining audible activity by stalking via Center for Better Life using a commercial means for the ongoing beeping. The light source is directly over my head. Okay, that is the P.O.C. What I want to show you, which is what I sought to capture is, okay, 1 second. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's criminal summoning. Those are the demons of the LA Fire Department, the same demonic activity captured by the Ontario Fire Department. Group stalking at 11:09 while the light source is over my head here at Alvarado Gardens at 11:09. That's showing the criminal conduct. That's a demon. While you see me flip that screen, simultaneous rewind the tape. That demon uses its vehicle as a means of stalking with audible activity. Literally everything that the entity is doing, which you know because they're doing it while a light source remains over me, is demonic. And that's prosecution for what is terrorism and sexual violence and harassment as an entity that's simultaneously monitoring, continuously engaging in terrorism, state terrorism, while their criminal conduct is being exposed. They are literally aware of what I'm looking at on my phone as I look at my phone. That's why you have the simultaneity of audible activity creation as I engage in a new movement, new activity. Okay, changing the camera lens angle, simultaneously the sound of a car horn honking. That's a demon, and that's the entity that's engaging in that. The same thing with the demons that are using sirens, okay? I am trying to show you this image real quick. I have to adjust the both screens so that you can see it at the same time. So that is the, okay, so here it is, May 30th. And again, this is 9 o'clock in the morning. I am standing at the same doorway, so you can see it in my shadow. I'm standing right here in front of the same location. So let's look at my shadow. My shadow is here. I'm standing at the same location, the same sidewalk, okay? So in the morning at 9 o'clock, my shadow is on this side of me, okay? Because the light source is on this side of me right here. So let's look at that. This is the light source above me. These are the trees right here that are engaged. This is where the light source is right here. Okay, this is where the light source is right here at 9 o'clock in the morning on May 30th, 2024. That's what I'm capturing in still images for you. That's this tree right here. Okay, this is where I'm standing. And I'm standing just so that you can see the same exact location. Clearly, just so you can see here. This is indeed the same location. You can see the trees, okay? I can't make this stuff up. This is the same tree. This is where the light source is. I'm at my office. Okay, this is where the light source is at 9 o'clock in the morning. So let's look at the timestamp again. 9 o'clock in the morning. You've heard the demons sounding sirens. You heard the demons sounding plane activity. You heard the demons sounding a commercial vehicle. You heard the demons using their horns. It's a means of what is stalking with audible activity. And you hear the demons sounding helicopter activity. And that's what I mean by presenting evidence against itself. These are demons, and this is the light source that is at what is 2:12 in the afternoon. 9 o'clock. These are the same trees right here. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. And that's how you know that that's stalking and targeting me. Everyone at this property is going to be federally prosecuted. And this is revealing what is demonic conduct in the state of California by government. And this is, again, revealing the condition of Dominic Choi. He is demon possessed. He is engaged in state surveillance, and that's why you have what is crossing a path in the, which is exactly what I captured in the previous videos. That group of Asian males and Kil Sa and Brian Sa, they live here. They're going to federal prison for what is facilitation for that criminal system that's underway, using helicopters in particular. Okay, the people of the state like to use their presence in the path. He knows he's going to federal prison. That's why he's crossing path again, exhibiting impunity. That's fine. They're not welcome in this country. And by they, I mean the demon-possessed who are not even natural-born citizens. The demon-possessed that engage in terrorism that were born here, they'll go to federal prison, just like the Lee's twin sons. They're going to federal prison. That light source was over me in the morning, and it's still over me right now in the afternoon. And that demon's engaged in surveillance, and he's witnessing me document him, engaging in what is an act to their own demise. I just want to make sure that you witness that. So we're not going to be distracted because you're looking at the same trees here, okay? 9 o'clock in the morning, this is the same trees. Let me move that out the way. This is the same set of trees right here. I want to take a screenshot of that also so you can see that, because that's an awesome way to look at the evidence. I'm constantly seeking ways in which I can provide the world with an ability to witness in the natural what is occurring in the spirit. Federal group stalking and monitoring is criminal because the government's keeping you under surveillance, but it is beyond that. It's terrorism also because the government is practicing demonic activity, and you are witnessing that through the unnatural environment. So right here over these trees on May 30th, 2024, the light source is right over my head. I demonstrate that because my shadow is captured right next to me, and you can look at the time. Okay, that's called light activity. 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm capturing the light source over me. 9 o'clock and 34 seconds, 9 o'clock and 36. So all I'm doing is I'm capturing the light source and I'm getting my shadow right here on this side because the light source is right here over these trees where you're looking at the same exact trees, the same ones. The entity is maintaining this light source 9 o'clock in the morning, 10, 11, 12, 1, 5 hours, moving from this area right here above the trees over me while I'm at my leasing office. Remember, when I am not working, the light source remains over me at my front door as I'm facing the hillside. And then the entity maintains that light source for the duration of the day as though it takes 6 hours to go from the front of an apartment building to the back of an apartment building. It's maintaining presence over the same exact structure. That in and of itself is capturing the pattern of conduct. The evidence showing what is a sunrise over this hillside, and the entity still has this light source here 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is 2:15 right now. That in and of itself, the pattern of conduct. But we can go 9 o'clock in the morning, I just captured at May 30th. While the entity listens to me expose that, you witness the pattern because the federal government is going to look at the bigger picture, looking at it from a macro level. You will see a repeated pattern while I document the people, while I expose their criminal conduct. Tom Waddick is going to federal prison. He's engaged in crossing a path. He's over there with his communication device while the entity is surrounding with light activity sounding their sirens, while the entity is flying over by helicopter, while the entity is communicating a threat by this Korean male who's going to be deported out of this country after he goes to federal prison. He's engaging in crossing a path and he's going to federal prison, and he plans on moving wherever he goes. This federal prosecution and his time in federal prison is not going to be missed. He's going to be found, and he's going to be put in federal court, and he's going to federal prison because the evidence establishing what he's doing and who he's doing it with is already established beyond reasonable doubt. The light source is still over me, and you're looking at it at 9 o'clock in the morning. So from here, which is where you're seeing the same exact tree, you can see the same little dip right here. This is the trees. This is exactly what you're looking at right here. 9 o'clock, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. That's a series of hours later, and it's still over me, and I have not moved. I'm standing at the same position. Standing here to here. That's not the sun. There is no sun, by the way, at 5 o'clock in the evening, nor has there been any sun. 9, 10, 11, 12, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, there's no sun in any other state while it's raining right here over Alvarado Gardens. My documentation, the pattern of conduct is such that there is already a body of evidence establishing that the state is group stalking and monitoring American citizens before I relocated to Los Angeles, which is also speaking to when you are analyzing the specific environment, establishing the crime scene where those that are not even natural born citizens have the audacity to be in this country, engage in criminal conduct with a corrupt government. That's a scenario that you don't want any parts of. And so I'm speaking to the rest of this country that are engaged in state surveillance because I know you are, because this is an unnatural environment. I know that you are. But what you don't want to ever be caught in is in providing the weight of evidence that the entity is currently providing. It's also providing for what is studying. I'm speaking directly to Satan. I'm speaking to what's going on with American citizens in this country. What you are doing and how you are doing it. Hold on. Let me show you the light source. What you are doing and how you are doing it and where you are doing it, who you're clearly doing it with, while the entity is blatantly providing evidence of the fact that it's a stalker, engaging in a pattern of providing evidence of the fact that it's a stalker every time I point out very damning evidence of what is non-movement of the so-called sun. And they're engaging in what is very highly demented. The state's not only a stalker, the state's a demon-possessed one that likes to use helicopters to psychologically torment and terrorize and threaten. That does not work against Erica Lorraine Spencer. I'm going to prosecute you by name, by department, by community, okay? And then you're going to trickle down into the lives of that entity, and then you're going to remove every threat that they pose. And you're going to remove that don't even belong in this country. You are not welcome here, and you will be plucked out. Your citizenship will be revoked upon federal group stalking and monitoring. You are not a true citizen. It is the most un-American thing that you can engage in. And then this demon is crossing path again. After that demon crosses path in a helicopter to communicate a threat. That's the futility that the demon-possessed want to engage in. That's the purpose of that. It's criminal on its face, and it's also additionally criminal because they want to communicate a threat while they're monitoring the documentation. Those sex offenders, no. They don't get deported until they serve their time in federal prison. You're going to serve time first, and then you're going to be shipped on the next thing smoking out of this country. It is currently 2:18 p.m., and so that's what I want to make sure that you can see. The fact that the entity is maintaining this light source over me at what is the same exact location. I'm standing in front of my leasing office. And this is what I captured on May 30th, 2024. And Hold on, that's a little too much. Yeah, May 30th, 2024, where you're looking at non-movement here. This is the area that I took a picture of. This is the demon that wants to cross path. All right, she's out of this country. She knows that. She can engage in impunity all she wants. The entity is maintaining the light source over me, 9 o'clock in the morning. There is no iteration of the natural environment that's going to ever be capable of being explained or reconciled in federal court. Okay, this is revealing what is the reality of a demon-possessed government, a demon-possessed, entity that is keeping you under surveillance. And that's a play of words, a term of art. The demon-possessed entity, that's literally the entity itself, the demonic, the entity that is of that condition, demon possession. And then you have the public entity that's engaging in demonic activity, and it is the why as to what is inspiring their criminal conduct. You make a decision to engage in criminal conduct. You make a decision to do so in the face of evidence that is establishing the fact that you're a criminal. You make a decision to do that moment by moment, period. But what I'm speaking to is I am simultaneously understand the purpose of the P.O.C. is to inform American citizens, because there is now approaching a time and era where the demon possessed will not subtly and do so threaten your life with a smile on their face, picking their feet, looking to the back and looking to the left and the right. Okay, there's coming a point where the entity, the demon-possessed one, will engage in what is showing the very hostility that the corrupt law enforcement agencies are exhibiting. Okay, while you want to threaten, that's equally threatening, by the way. I'm letting you know what they want to hide and subtly engage in. There's no subtlety in the specific environment. There's no subtlety when you're acting in concert with a corrupt law enforcement agency. What I'm speaking to and what I'm letting you know, what these are symptoms revealing to you, is that there is coming a time where this entity that wants to militarize the law enforcement agency, they want to act with impunity and engage in more of the criminal conduct, more of a threat to you, while you are aware of the fact and even maybe perhaps enforcing your rights. Not maybe, American citizens will be able to enforce their rights. You're looking at their conduct as they increase that criminal conduct. They increase that stalking conduct, appearing to the demise of this demon. She can keep her head down. She's going to federal prison. She's 80 some odd years old. It's light activity. It's relevant positioning. And this demon that doesn't speak English knows exactly what I'm saying and what I'm doing. You're understanding what is the significance of what's going on here. This is a demon that knows what I'm saying. Okay, using a person. That demonic spirit on her knows exactly what I'm communicating. Okay, that's what you're not focusing on. And you're also going to remember what else is establishing criminal conduct. The LAPD is acting with those that are, and the LAPD represents nothing other than demons who are in law enforcement. The demon possessed are engaging in what is an ongoing communication of a threat while you expose their condition. Okay, the significance of this is demonic pacing, walking here, remaining in relevant position. LAPD is monitoring through that conduct. This demon over here that's engaged in group stalking with Brian Suh, he's going to federal prison. And this impunity that's exhibited while they continuously stalk, that I'm capturing that on a day-to-day basis. You're talking about what is years. She probably will not even survive in federal prison. That's how aged she is. That's not the target individual's problem. She's engaging in conduct with impunity. The state is monitoring and threatening your life through that. She's not even going to survive in federal prison. Okay, she's going away though, and they're going for years. They're going for years because of the size and the magnitude of the crime and the entity and the ongoing continuation, the ongoing communication of an intent to continue doing so. And that's demonstrated through the unnatural environment. Yes, it is. It's demonstrated through the ongoing concerted activity. The entity is stalking in helicopters and with sirens, speaking to your close presence. They're using their sirens. They're using light activity. They're facilitating ongoing light activity and relevant positioning through all of the environment around. That's the P.O.C. All of that is reasonably construed to the sound of sirens while the light source is over your head and is nowhere near the Fontana Lewis Library at the same time. Remember the evidence that's already on the record. And never, common sense, rocket science you don't have to have a degree in rocket science. The sun is not going to be present from 9 o'clock in the morning right here on this side, creating my shadow on this side of my person, and still here at what is after 2 o'clock. It is currently 2:23 p.m. in the afternoon, and you're seeing the ongoing pattern, the hallmark of stalking in helicopters. The demons that are documented, and they know that they've been documented, coming back to make sure they communicate a threat again, because that's what that is, crossing path in concert with the LAPD while the light source is over your head. Okay, and this whole group, all of them, Brian Suh's going back to Korea. This third party driving, he was driving the 6SWP194, I believe. He's going back to Korea. All right, I'm just assuming it's Korea because the drivers were, their company, their little small mom and pop company is Captured and girl. I threw away those notes. I captured these still images, and you'll see them in the pictures. And again, you're also going to pay attention to what the entity is doing by LAPD. As I capture images documenting Brian Suh, the entity flies over my office by helicopter. As I document the maintenance of a light source at 9 o'clock in the morning, showing you what's the maintenance of that light source in the same position after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the entity flies over by helicopter. The entity is monitoring in concert with this third party that crosses path, and the entity is group stalking in a plane right here. My voice is the audible activity. The entity is group stalking in planes and helicopters, doing so silently right now, using my voice as the audible activity. They do the same thing in planes and helicopters. The entity likes to sound helicopter activity because the purpose of the demon possessed that are keeping you under surveillance, it's supposed to psychologically torment you, it's supposed to scare you to death, it's supposed to silence you. None of that's working. I'm going to use the evidence against them. And you're talking about what is going to be a massive shakedown. The LAPD is done, as you know it. They're done, okay? That entire force, demon infected, they're disqualified. They're going to be permanently removed. The Los Angeles Fire Department, those in the medical profession, driving around in ambulances, this entire, and I've already established the P.O.C. that's exactly what's happening, because you don't have the ability to have a coincidence with regard to the unnatural environment and with regard to the pattern of stalking, using stalking not only with regard to whatever it is that I do physically and what I do on communication devices. That's beyond the ability to have any coincidence. No such thing as a coincidence in the specific environment, by the way. But you also have the entity stalking by helicopters. That's something that's well beyond the target individual's ability to control. I can't make them follow me and stalk me and fly over my apartment and amplify that which I can't possibly hear while I'm inside of a building. I can't control those things. I'm letting you know what is demonic. Everything that they do, while they know that you're documenting it, is relevant to a threat. And that represents the government, not just that Asian male who in and of itself represents the people. The whole population are the people who are in the shoes of the government that's keeping you under surveillance. Understand how that threat is analyzed. Then you're in the workplace, and this is a threat while a sun is remaining over you all day. And it still remains here, as I've already documented, after 5 o'clock in the evening. There is no expert that will ever get on the stand and be able to reconcile that. There is no sun that's going to be over the Fontana Police Department at 1:45 in the afternoon today. Because that's exactly what the evidence suggests when I'm showing you what I captured at 9 o'clock in the morning, standing here, and while I still stand here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there is no reconciling the fact that I captured the light source directly over my head in the same manner at 1:45 in the afternoon during the same time of year. So that's 2 police departments down. The Fontana Police Department and the Los Angeles Police Department, but the P.O.C. provides well beyond that, okay? State surveillance, okay? Engaging in surveillance, engineer lights moving up that building while this demon's engaged in surveillance in the vehicle. The entity pay attention to the time it started sounding sirens. The demon driving by into the parking lot and started sounding sirens the moment that I speak to what are the Fontana Police Department that are demon possessed. That's a foregone conclusion. Like I said, the demon possessed engage in an ongoing real-time reaction to everything that it listens to me say about it. And they engage in the foolish provision of evidence against the entire entity. Stalking in helicopters, stalking with sirens, stalking in plain sight while a light source that's clearly not the sun from 9 o'clock till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me be clear, it is 2:27 p.m. That's called criminal summoning. That's called criminal summoning. Not only is there not any sun over anyone in Fontana, California, it's right here over me in between my leasing office and building 1810. This is not over anyone over any other state or in Fontana, California. And that's just one example. In addition to that, that is speaking to the specific environment. And that is how I know the rest of the country. There are other states that are engaging in this demonic system, state terrorism. And I would suggest that you take a lesson from the state of California, because it's going to be an epic prosecution, and it's going to be removal of many organizations, removal of many government actors, and you're talking about what is federal prison all the way around. All right, it is currently, that's criminal summoning while utilizing the people of the state to engage in that criminal conduct with impunity under a light source that's still here at the same leasing office, which is how you know what is group stalking in the workplace and where you live, which is grounds of federal prison, and also removal of those that are under the age of majority while engaging in what is criminal summoning via them. That's a serious federal offense, and using minor children to do so. This is demonic pacing, crossing path repeatedly. This is ongoing show of what is hostility by a demon-possessed entity. That's all they're doing. Sounding the siren, sounding the helicopter, walking by, remaining present, doing so in concert with the LAPD. That's audible activity. That's malice. He's going to federal prison. He's going to be shipped out of this country. That goes for both of them, actually. This is P.O.C. It's currently 2:28 p.m. This is demonic. He comes by crossing path while LAPD flies over to communicate a threat. And then that demon, which is a psychopath, that's the entity that will hit you, attack you, and then say, don't hit you. That's why you document Satan. That's what that is. Okay, that's a threat to your life. The entity sounding sirens, stalking by helicopters, stalking by airplanes, under a light source that's not the natural environment, communicating all manner of a threat, and then monitoring you in your face and saying hi. That's the behavior of the psychopaths. This whole property is going to federal prison. That was Precious Bastillos. That was a minor child that's going to be taken from her custody. And that's also impunity. Okay, and you recognize that impunity because of the unnatural environment, because of the concerted conduct with the government that's keeping you under surveillance. It is the prosecution of the people of the state. This is all occurring in the workplace. Going to federal prison is license plate 8ENJ157 P.O.C. They're crossing path, engaged in criminal summoning, the entity repeatedly sounding sirens, the entity stalking by helicopter, and maintaining presence in the parking lot is literally lying in wait conduct, very psychotic. The system of group stalking is ceaselessly underway. This is how you have, by the way, the entity that's driving by in a parking lot, driving a Lyft vehicle, and that's supposed to separate the people of the state. Oh, I'm not a group. This is how the demons assume. I'm not a group stalker. I'm not stalking because I don't know the target individual. I don't even know them. I'm here engaging in what is the operation of my job. Lift. Stalking in the path with engineer light that you saw coming toward me. That's how you know that they're targeting me, first of all, that they're stalking. And they're doing so while the light source is directly over me. It's still over me at the same address. That's how you know that they're stalking and they're demon possessed. And then you're also then made clear, which is their mental illness is made manifest. The fact that they're doing so in manners that are no longer hidden and yet they still continue. That is revealing a public safety concern. Okay, threatening the life of another and then saying hi as though you're friendly is audible activity. That's a psychopath that's threatening your safety as well. Engaging in things such as surveillance inside of a laundry room, that's absolutely demented. Stalking in helicopters, that's absolutely demented. Driving around in circles, sounding sirens on your emergency vehicle instead of having something legitimate to do with your time and your life and your job, that's psychotic, that's a threat, while the entity is engaged in what is terrorism. This is documented in the work environment. Again, Todd Speaker, whose employees are also documented group stalkers on the venue of the internet, also monitoring. And so this is the significance of what I've captured on an ongoing basis. And so this was another example of what the entity is engaged in on an ongoing basis. All I have to do is step out and show you what is the unnatural environment. That's 9 o'clock in the morning and it is 2:30 and the light source remains over me. And then there is a pre-existing body of evidence. When I say body, I mean from 2018 up until 2022. You have what is ongoing documentation, which is showing the maintenance of a light source, which I knew then was not the natural environment, and that's why I documented it in order to reveal what is criminal and what is first demonic and what is first criminal being underway by government, and secondly, what is demonic while it's underway by a government, and that's serving for what is an unprecedented federal prosecution of a government, which is a never before recognized matter of public corruption. So it is, again, 2:31 p.m. You just witnessed what was group stalking in concert with the LAPD. You're looking at the still images that I continuously capture. The entity is acting in concert with the people of the state who are being documented. Silverview Townhomes remains a relevant position. They're literally next door. They're group stalking on an ongoing basis. As I continuously document, as I was speaking to, as I document, capture images, reference license plates, this Asian male that walks by saying hi, he's licensed 6WSP195 and he's going to federal prison. He's also engaged in what is, again, grounds of what is an enhancement. He is coming to engage in the criminal conduct in concert with the entity that's group stalking in a helicopter. They literally did that in the same video. The entity is literally delusional with regard to how this spells out for them in federal court. They literally do that, and the entity continues to do that. That is establishing the conspiracy of federal group stalking and monitoring between the people of the state and the state. And it is also grounds for what is federal prosecution and enhancement with regard to a federal judge deciding how long the people of the state will sit in federal prison, regarding the needs regarding the mental examinations, the malice with which this mentally disturbed entity is engaging in this criminal conduct. All that's relevant while the entity continuously provides this evidence against itself at this point. Group stalking in the helicopter is direct evidence against 6WSP195 while the light source is remaining over me in a position where I'm showing you it's at the same location at 9 o'clock in the morning, because that's exactly what that is. While I'm standing in front of the same door in my leasing office at 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not the sun. But you know even more than that, the entity is engaging in a pattern of communicating a threat appearing in helicopter as I document the entity group stalking. And it's targeting based on where I'm at. When I'm in my apartment, you see that impossible light activity inside of my apartment. You see that stalking with the helicopter that is crossing paths with me in relevant position to where I am inside of my apartment. You see them flying over over my apartment. The entity is engaging what is targeting, which you also recognize based on what I'm doing as I do it. Okay, all of it is group stalking. I'm giving you what are tactics to recognize the demonic, but it is all stalking. It's all group stalking, and it's all demonic because the light source and the engineered light. It's the unnatural environment. The reason why the unnatural environment is present is because federal group stalking and monitoring is underway, and it's demonic activity. Okay, this is a serving for what is a prosecution of the people of the state, including, again, this is occurring in the workplace, the entity stalking by helicopter at 1:41. This is the same time where I'm capturing still images of Brian Suh, third-party group stalker, as I capture images the same time the entity engages in what is sending a text message. So what's the significance of that? It's called operation of the communication device. It is within the entity's monitoring behavioral pattern. It's an act of terrorism in the workplace through those that are using the malicious guise of something having to do with the workplace, the job, or I'm sending a message because a resident needs X, Y, and Z. They're engaged in group stalking in the workplace with the state that's at the same time flying over my office as I'm documenting, focused on what I'm doing as I do it, communicating a threat, and continuously monitoring. And this is what I'm documenting in the comments as I capture every iteration of the ongoing monitoring. And this is occurring on a ceaseless basis. They're violent sex offenders. They're engaged in terrorism in the workplace. They do so with real-time knowledge of what's being accumulated about their criminal conduct, and they are doing so to their own demise. While one engages in the criminal elements of monitoring, the other part of that criminal enterprise is being simultaneously prosecuted with that evidence. That is the significance of engaging in the conspiracy of group stalking. Group stalking is done as a group. The group happens to be the state of California and the people of the state. All right, it is currently, again, 2:35 p.m. and I am in the workplace capturing what is workplace terrorism, harassment, and sexual violence by an entity engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. And this is to the demise and what is the civil and criminal prosecution of Todd Speaker, a third-party group stalker. Let me be clear, also grounds of federal prison here, because when I went to Palo Alto, Todd Speaker was in the office, at the corporate office, monitoring group stalking in relevant position. Right now, he's engaged in facilitation of group stalking by virtue of his real property being the crime scene and his business being the malicious guise under which the system of federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. Calling me on the work phone, sending emails, and engaging in what are methods of harassment. The co-workers that are third-party group stalkers of his company, which is the corrupt misuse of a business for purposes of facilitating group stalking, and that's why he is subject to civil and criminal prosecution, and this business is not going to survive. You also have what is, again, beyond any coincidence, all of the people of the state that live on his property are engaging in that criminal system in concert with that state that likes to use helicopters and stalk in fire trucks, police vehicles, and ambulances, which is indicated through the sound of what is amplified sirens in that specific environment, and part of maintaining that specific environment. That is the insurmountable evidence that the people of the state are going to be prosecuted with on a massive basis. And so you're talking about the individualization. Individualization includes not only company name, but then down to the names of the individuals. But there is no individuality with group stalking. A demon thinking that they're getting away with engineered light across the street of Alvarado, while the demon possessed that live on the grounds of Alvarado Gardens are remaining in relevant position. Guess who's going to be prosecuted for that impunity and that malice? In the same way that the entirety of that property, Ada Gray is going to federal prison for a very long time while I am documenting her criminal conduct in concert with those that are pacing all around the property, engaging in that massive act of state surveillance together. That's what group stalking is. You're criminalizing and prosecuting that. This is how they are, this is how they are prosecuting themselves. I just want to make sure and stress and reiterate, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, the entity is engaging in what is showing the public safety concern. My purpose is not only to prosecute and to inform, it is to advocate, okay? I'm not only advocating on behalf of the ordinary target individual, I'm not only informing about the reality of demon possession, the fact that Satan is real, Satan is a spirit, and he uses people, and their behavior, the defects, the public safety concern that exists with regard to the massive demon possession status here in the state of California, at least, that is relevant to the safety concerns in this country, because these of that condition are maintaining positions in law enforcement. That is directly informing the necessity of policies that need to be created to protect constitutional protections with regard to the inability to manipulate or preclude an ability to enforce your rights, and also to preclude this demented government and government actors. The people of the state are in the shoes of the government group stalking you, and they are in a position that is designed to aid that ongoing system and conceal it. Okay, like I said, that boat has sailed. There's no concealing with the P.O.C. There's no concealing when you are captured on video tons of times a day for 47 minutes straight, even stalking in helicopters in an unnatural environment. Those facts in and of itself on its face is providing probable cause for what is at the very least the federal government would describe as very peculiar. That peculiarity is something that the government is going to hone in on. And that's just being very, not even going into the level of specificity that the P.O.C. provides. Okay. Like I said, this is what the entity is doing on an ongoing basis. You listen, you play back this video, you heard the P.O.C. over and over again, everything that the entity doing, the people of the state honking their horns, the people of the state sounding a commercial vehicle, the entity stalking in an airplane in relevant position, stalking in helicopter in relevant position, the demon possessed that are hostile. Let me be clear, that demon is not only fearful, but unfortunately, the demon possessed, that psychopath that is scared, will engage in more criminal conduct, will engage in more lawlessness, will engage in more terrorism and sexual violence. This is serving to inform the federal government and policies that I advocate. With regard to a documentation of a law enforcement agency engaged in terrorism, you disband them. You disband them. And you're talking about what is that's necessary as a matter of justice. It is also in every way defensible. It's absolutely called for under the circumstances. In addition to that, you're talking about what is implementing necessary policies. Yes, no person should be able to walk in off the street and engage in what is passing because of some physical state that they may be in to get past the academy. And then any sociopath can walk off the street and act out their violent appetites, okay? Act on behalf of their leader, Satan himself. The fact that demon possession is real and this criminal system is the evidence of it, and it thereby becomes legally relevant. It thereby becomes a matter of what is public concern, legitimately so. No demon-possessed sociopath should be able to walk off the street and apply to be in law enforcement. Okay? An education requirement. And you're talking about what is also disbanding. You're talking about what is also necessary to change landscape in this country. You don't get to just get on the internet and make comments on somebody's Facebook page. That's a venue where state surveillance is underway. These demons that are group stalking in the path are just getting onto the internet and defaming the target individual online. No, that's not an exercise of freedom of speech. No, it's not under any circumstances. It's the state that's acting via the people. By the way, those demons that are stalking in helicopters and sitting around stalking in fire trucks and ambulances are very much capable also of getting on that same website and making comments. And my point being, the entity is group stalking in relevant position, and they're keeping you under surveillance on the internet. This is changing the landscape of everything because it is no longer a fallacy that the government is monitoring American citizens. Monitoring is no average criminal act. It's that which is underway by a government, and it's demonic. It's requiring a whole massive population that are of that same disturbing condition. And you see the personality defect. You see that ongoing determination. You see that psychotic outworking of behavior when they are exposed. That's a direct threat to American citizens in this country. Okay? So that is at the same time simultaneously informing while I'm prosecuting. The light source is over me at 2:42 in the afternoon. So I'm going to conclude with that evidence. The light source is over me at 2:42 in the afternoon. That's not the sun that's going to be in any position, I'm literally not only on the same property, I am at the same exact physical location while I'm showing you the light source that's over me. So give me a moment because I want to make sure that I conclude with that very powerful visual for the world to witness. Not only are you looking at the light source that's over me, which is not, again, I'm referring to it as a light source because the sun is not going to be at the same doorway over my head from 9 o'clock until after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Thereby, and logic follows, it reasonably follows, everything that's occurring in that suspicious environment is up for, it becomes relevant. Everything that's occurring in that environment that is already on its face abnormal, a scientific impossibility, everything that's happening in that environment is providing what is additional probable cause, okay, to investigate. I am conducting that investigation. This is the groundwork for what is the federal prosecution of the state of California that's practicing a demonic targeting system. And they do so knowingly. It's not just the fact that the government's keeping you under surveillance, they're doing so knowingly. That's a whole other level of enhancement for that federal prosecution. So again, I want to end with this powerful evidence so that you can see it. It's 9 o'clock in the morning as I documented at on May 30th, 2024. And I am standing at the same location at what is 2:43 p.m. And I'm going to stand here facing the same position. This is the same set of trees right here while I'm looking at the light source. This is the same direction I was facing again at what is 9 o'clock in the morning on May 30th. Okay, it's May 30th, 2024. I'm capturing this again at what today is May 31st, 2024. The entity is maintaining a light source over me as I'm facing this. All I'm doing is turning my body to face the opposite direction. This is the light source. I'm literally in front of the same building. I'm facing the same trees to my left. The shadow has just moved to the opposite side of my person. This is what I documented when I'm capturing the light source over me. Sorry, that's a different picture. This is again seconds later, 9 o'clock. So my shadow is on this side of me at 9 o'clock in the morning because the light source is right here. I'm changing position to be in front of the same exact building, not moving my feet. The light source is still over me, and my shadow is now just on this side of the person, on my person, and the light source remains here as I've shown you tons and tons of videos, evidence of the entity group stalking in helicopters, the outward demonstration of demon possession both by the people of the state and that state that likes to engage in that spectacular and terrorizing and very disturbing method of stalking an American citizen, whom they are also doing so with knowledge of the fact that it's being accumulated, that it's going for purposes of enforcing your your constitutional rights. And there is no sun whereby you are maintaining presence. You're not taking out the trash. You're not going to your parking spot. You're not walking to your vehicle with your children. You're engaged in what is criminal activity and doing so with impunity and engaged in federal stalking. She's going to federal. That's Tiffany Sherez, violent sex offender, a terrorist. And going to be prosecuted just like that. Living at a crime scene, this is the people of the state that engage in the malicious system in concert with that government. And that's also the substance of the P.O.C. My evidence showing the entity will rise and set the light source over me wherever it is that I remain. So while I slept at a museum outside in Ontario, the Los Angeles at this hillside is not where the sun could possibly have been rising. You also know that this is not the sun because it would not be at the same physical location where I'm at 9 o'clock in the morning to what is right now 2:46 p.m. And that's how you're recognizing a psychopath. That's a threat to the minor children they're in custody of, and also a threat to the public while they engage in terrorism in concert with the corrupt government that uses helicopters to terrorize you and stalk you. Okay, and that's what I want you to look at. Let's look at that because that's the final scene I'm going to end on. It's currently again May 30th at 9 o'clock in the morning. It is 2:46 in the afternoon. Yeah, this is P.O.C.